All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this week's Tipple's Wine of the Week, video wine tasting, virtual wine tasting, video virtual. Oh. Either way,
one of those.
It's all of those things. This is Elizabeth and Jeff Mourvedre with Tipple's Brews and Wines in Gainesville, Florida. Thank you all for joining us. This week, we are drinking the heading to España, the Tarmia Hill Old Vine Monastrell from Valencia, Spain, or as they might say in parts of Spain, Valencia. So
just depends.
There she is. Beautiful, beautiful bottle. That's a wonderful artwork and really great wine. So if you have not already done so, which has never happened, go ahead and open up your bottle and pour yourself a glass, and we will get started talking about this beautiful wine. I threw mine in the fridge for about 30 minutes to kind of bring it down to a little closer to European cellar temperatures, 55 to 60 degrees as a start. It'll warm up as we enjoy it. And so great food pairings with this guy: spare ribs, blue cheese, bacon burger. Yes, I threw in one of my favorites. Eggplant lasagna.
Thank you.
Garlic wine braised. I can't remember the last one now that it's covered up.
It is covered up on our screen. They should see it. So somebody can share what that is. Garlic wine braised.
Shank, I think.
Veal shank. Is it covered up for you as well?
It is covered up.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's veal shank.
I'm gonna have to not take it all the way down to the bottom of the screen, I guess.
Yep.
Because it's been like 10 days since I made this. So it's kind of no wonder. Oh wait, veal shanks. That's right. I put it here on my page.
You did in bolded and large.
One of these days I'm going to figure out what I do day to day. So here we have a 100% Monastrell. What is Monastrell, right? That is the grape, and it is otherwise known as Mourvedre in France, right? And Mataro in Australia.
Oh, okay.
There we go. So
I hate the way they do that, I have to say. I wish it would just have one name and that's it. I think it's very confusing and elitist.
Well, it will also, actually, we'll talk a little bit about when we go into more detail on the Monastrell grape, about a little bit of a kind of a, I don't know if you'd call it controversy, but there's an intriguing, way. There's an intriguing kind of battle for which one is the right name. This one is not as cut and dry.
Where it came from first.
Like, honestly, the one that it's known more for, I don't know, should have the claim.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
That'll be interesting.
Alcohol content on this delight is 15%. So robust, 15%. So a little higher alcohol, usually indicative of more ripeness, therefore more sugar in the grape, often meaning a warmer growth.
Okay.
All right. This is a very, very warm growth environment, which we'll get into as well. Age worthiness, it does apply. Yes. Okay. So we'll go into that one next.
Okay.
About 10 to 15 years. Yeah, this guy can age. You can hang out.
Nice. What is ours?
Easy 10. This is a 2017.
Okay.
So
we're still on the very young side of it then.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, this can be around for quite a bit longer. But ready to drink right away, which is kind of nice about these wines. You can drink them now and you can hold.
How long has ours been open?
Oh, no more than 10 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's fresh.
Yeah, I already like it.
Well, that's one of my things. I love Mourvedre Monastrell. I do, because it's it doesn't lack complexity, but it's very friendly. Right away, but time to open, young, old. It's a really flexible wine, usually. So, aged 14 months in French oak, so it gets a good dose of oak to kind of tame it. So let's take a look. Intense kind of crimson purple color, more crimson, I'd say, than purple. Definitely a deep dark red.
I forbid you to use the word crimson anymore. You may use garnet.
Okay.
And purple.
Okay. Well, we'll
no
go with
crimson.
All right. How about garnet?
See, garnet. Kristen Roberts say garnet.
It's a deep garnet, almost to almost a a reddish black. Can you see through this guy? No, you cannot. Heavy extraction. All right.
Yeah, Linda said no crimson as well. See, we all agree, no crimson.
A lot of fruit, right? But a dry wine, which you can really comes out in the finish. I find, which I saw this in the notes, that they talk about you get more of the kind of minerality on the nose than you do on the palate. Like there's a lot of nice spice and all kinds of things going on the palate, but if I were to say maybe a little bit of a terracotta pot kind of bit of and working around with all the fruit, I put it on the nose. I really get more of the spice and everything on the palate. So combination of fruits, raspberry through blueberry, so red and blue. Really like the amount of tannin in here. So, and I like the dryness,
pepperiness of it too.
Absolutely. So definitely peppers, pepperiness, like black pepper.
Black pepper, not, I wasn't thinking like bell peppers.
No, not bell peppers. We're not back to Chile yet,
right.
So a nice black pepper, really nice, bit of a baking spice going on. Kind of like an allspice thing. And I would say the tannins are medium to medium plus. So that's going to help the aging as well. There is acidity to this because it's not just all dried fruit, right? So you get kind of that, when I'm talking about, raspberries, there's a tartness to a raspberry. So that acidity will also allow it to age. And honestly, as I drink this, and kind of, I've had it before, but it's been a beat since I've had it, a couple years, and that 10 to 15 is definitely, absolutely. It could be stretched to 15 years for sure with all that going on.
So, and then if we look at our chat, Rachel said she could smell the wine from 2 feet away when David opened it. So and then Chris and Robin said very earthy.
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah, I like that. I like that call. And I think it really jumps out on the nose, but also in that, that complexity as we go through the mid palate to the finish, where you've got a nice herbiness in there, a little floral component, like, consider like violets, lavender kind of thing. And just a bit of, and then it kind of comes together more on the palate for me, almost like a moist, if you could go like a moist earth kind of bit, some potting soil, but in a good way, as I was said a lot last night at the wine tasting.
Right. Yeah. And then dried or dark fruit, black cherry, settled quickly after being very fruity at first. And and then the senator said they'd like to save this one, try it again after it ages.
No, I think that's a good call. And
and Brian Knapp would like to request that you not use the word moist. Oh, Julie said that.
Fertile soil. Okay, this is growing in anything but fertile soil, but that would be normal.
Sure.
So
otherwise it would be not good.
We'll get into
Grapes.
it. Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. But and other ones that they say you may want to look for a little bit, balsamic vinegar, a little balsamiciness to it, to that kind of tart, dark fruit richness, which is balsamic.
I feel like I'm feeling the tannins more now that it's opening up.
It's taking a breath for sure. We're going through. It evolves nicely and quickly, which I like a lot. That it's not going to make me wait around. I'm an American and want it now. So absolutely. So and leather, common, very common, because you're getting that combination of big fruit and it has extended aging on oak. I can go leather on the nose, especially.
I was going to say on the nose, I'm not getting it.
And honestly, it's already changed. So remember in the beginning, I was talking about terracotta pot. I would go more leather on the nose already. And I'm pretty sure that's where it's going to settle in, is something closer to that. which makes more sense.
Okay.
Sorry, I got to enjoy for a sec. And you're right, the tannins are getting bigger.
Mhm.
This is getting to where you can really see that spare rib, you know,
Right.
all kinds of, you know, this guy can handle a steak.
Mhm.
No doubt. Prime rib would be amazing with it,
Oh yeah.
as I, you know, am inspired while I go
Bacon.
through. Yeah, we can
Could
go
you put
bacon.
bacon with
Yeah,
it?
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Why not? Absolutely. You know what? Bacon goes with everything.
I mean,
I think so, because we got some again, I don't
we
know
have
how we have,
bacon.
I don't know how we have
Oh.
leftover
there you
bacon,
go.
but
is
it's,
it working well with it?
yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, I find that a lot. In fact, I can't think of a Spanish wine I've had that would not go with a pork dish.
Oh, well, yeah.
Which is kind of funny that, I mean,
Mhm.
it just kind of works out that way. Is it because I know that so much of Spanish cuisine is based around pork?
Yeah.
Am I forcing it in my
Mhm.
brain? Or is it just that there's something to it, you know?
Right. I don't know. I mean, I knew that Cuban cuisine, a lot of it's based
Mhm.
around pork,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Little Iberico ham with this would not be
Mhm.
amiss. So, all right. Enjoying it so far, everybody? Any other thoughts before we delve into the what's, whys, and wherefores? Excellent.
Okay.
Let's jump over. All right. So the Mourvedre grape, right? Monastrell. There's that color, deep and intense. The grapes over there on the right. Wow, it looks like red wine grapes. They all look pretty much
I
alike.
like how they show like the piece of paper in this image that you can't see, like very on the edge, you can kind of see it.
Right.
But as it goes toward the middle, you can't.
No, you're totally right. And what's
See through it.
interesting,
Mhm.
that picture really nails it because it looks just like this
Mhm.
wine.
Yeah, it really does.
I love Wine Folly. They're amazing,
Mhm.
right? So,
Yeah, they have fantastic images.
tip of the hat. You guys are awesome. All right. So Monastrell Mourvedre, right?
Mhm.
Where did this wine originate? Spain.
Okay.
It's been used in Spain for thousands of years.
So it should be Mourvedre, not Monastrell.
Should be Monastrell, not Mourvedre.
I thought Mourvedre was what it was tonight.
No, Monastrell is the Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and
I
then
reversed
Mourvedre.
it.
Look, I've
Okay.
been throwing it back and
Yes.
forth the whole time.
Mhm.
There's no, like, I get it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So it's a Monastrell
Okay.
because it's from Spain.
Okay.
But honestly, the Spaniards, that's the origination of the grape
Okay.
to the best of our historical records. It's been in Spain for thousands of years, France for hundreds of years. It should be called Monastrell,
Yeah, thousands to right.
right?
Mhm.
I don't know. That's
Okay.
that's my 2 cents.
Okay.
Bling, for whatever they're worth. So it's Monastrell. All right. Thick-skinned. We can wait. We'll do the next things on the run.
Okay.
It's a thick-skinned grape,
Mhm.
slow ripening, prefers warmer growing areas because it takes oomph to get this thing to ripen and get to where it needs to go. So, and the thick skin allows it to be heat and drought tolerant because the water won't evaporate through the skin.
Oh,
It's thick
okay.
skinned, right?
Yeah.
The
That
other
makes
thing,
sense.
right?
Mhm.
The other thing about thick skins is it makes it more resistant to mildews and molds. So it makes it a little more robust, but it
Mm-hmm.
has to have an area where it won't then get waterlogged with too much, with too much late season water.
Mm-hmm.
And then, what's the word I'm looking for? When you take something and you
Dilute it.
dilute it. Thank you. That is exactly the word. All right.
That's why I'm here.
And believe me, they found a great place for it. Well, you help me finish my sentences.
There you go.
You-
Just vocabulary and math skills.
You
Here we
complete
go.
me.
Oh, wait, we have a chat comment. Let's see. Oh, this is delicious. There we go.
There we go.
Yep.
Loving it. And I really felt like everyone was going to like this wine. When I thought about it, I thought, well, why have I not done this one yet? We need to do this wine. It's just such a winner
Mhm.
and such a pleaser.
Yeah, I could see this being a crowd pleaser easily. Like, especially, it's right from opening. I mean, we were within 10 minutes, you said,
Yeah,
and I liked it from,
Yeah.
even though it is evolving, but
sure.
from the 10 minutes.
Yeah, there's a little vanilla coming out, which I had a lot of time on oak. It's very subtle and it's on the finish. It's not taking over at all, which I love,
Mhm.
but it's a nice little enhancement.
Yeah. Plus it's 15%. So there you go.
Get your bang for your buck. Okay, so indicative of what the world kind of calls it. It's kind of a Franco-centric wine world out there. It just is.
Okay.
So the information's all going to be under Mourvedre.
Okay.
Also known as Monastrell kind of thing, even though that may not be technically,
So is
appropriate.
it called Mourvedre? No, you said Australia has a different name.
Yes, yes, Mataro.
Matara.
So let's look at this. So here we have Monastrell wine, major wine regions. All right. So less than 190,000 acres across the world.
Okay.
Spain, though, the absolute leader, with 150,000 of them.
So another reason why
Another
it should be
reason.
called Monastrell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just saying.
This is another one of your campaigns.
This is another one of my campaigns, just like Zinfandel is the official grape of the United States of
okay.
America. All right. So
When Jeff runs for public office, he's gonna be running on different
That's right.
wine. That's gonna be his platform.
it's going to be, let's get this straight about wine.
Yeah,
That's gonna-
exactly.
All right. So Spain, 150,000 of the 190,000 acres, all in Spain.
Yeah, that's tremendous.
So
Mhm.
sub-regions within
I
Spain.
mean, it's about 73%.
There you go.
Mhm.
Math.
Mhm.
Alicante, which is where we're drinking from tonight.
Mhm.
Jumilla and Almansa, excuse me.
Mhm.
All right. So France, about 25,000 acres. So in France, mostly where you're going to have
Mhm.
this is in the Rhone as part of the blends.
Okay.
So
And
they'll have 7-8 grapes. in
That's
there.
exactly what Chris and Robin asked. Was it mainly a blending grape in France? And
Yes,
that's why it was
absolutely.
less. And then Lynn and Paul are voting for you. They're already voting for you for public
I
office.
am loving that. Thank you so much. So Australia, about 2,500 acres.
Okay, so yeah, not much. at
So
all.
we did have some, and remember in Tate the Wild Ride, that was, there was Tate the Ballbuster,
Right.
right? And then Tate the Wild Ride was more of a GSM, which
Mhm.
was actually an SGM.
Oh, so the M in that is the
Mataro,
right.
right, which is Mourvedre, which is
Monastrell.
Monastrell.
Okay.
We're just going to keep throwing all the names out, right?
Mhm.
And then the United States should plant more of this. I love this grape. I do.
It would work
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
and-
you know what I'm going to do? We're going to have a wine one day.
Okay.
And we're going to have a red blend that is Tanat Monastrell. And we're going to do it
Is
in Paso
anyone doing
Robles.
that?
No one does that.
Okay.
I just threw it out there and someone's going to steal the idea before we get to it. It would be amazing. Right.
It would be challenging with not, right? Isn't that one of our challenging grapes?
It can be challenging if
Okay.
you don't grow it right, but
Yeah.
Paso Robles
Mhm.
has every single terroir you need in the world.
Oh.
That's one of the crazy things
There you
about
go.
Paso Robles is so up and coming, and it didn't burn.
That's why you trademarked not Monastrell. There you go.
That's that's right. When you go to there, David thinks we should have to grow it somewhere.
Well, we can't grow it here.
Yeah. No, the only place I can think of is
Paso
Is
Robles
Paso
is what you
Robles.
just- yeah.
if you want to be in one central location.
Sure.
Mhm.
A year from now,
Though
when somebody
honestly-
puts that out.
Right. Honestly, I'm thinking about the way you grow good Tanat
Mhm.
is kind of the same way you grow good Monastrell.
Oh, there you go.
Warm temperatures, it takes a little while to ripen. Anyway,
Okay.
moving on. More facts. All right. So wine characters, blueberry, blackberry, plum. All right. Plum. I hadn't talked about that, but I can go there with a kind of a redness in there, like you get from Merlot.
Yeah.
Black pepper, you called, violets, rose, smoke. I felt like there was more smoke and gravel in the beginning, which is moving over to a little bit more leather, but and
Yeah,
a
I'm not
meaty
really
quality,
getting the
which
smoke.
I can get like a savoriness to it. I get
Mhm.
that. Usually medium to long oak aging. This is long oak aging. Tannin high, I'd call it medium plus on this guy. But then again, I might be under doing that a little bit because I do like high tannins. Acidity, medium plus. Totally, yep. ABV, we're on the higher end of what is common. A common synonym. So here we have Monastrell, Alicante, which is interesting. So in that case, they're just calling it the grape of that region
Right.
as well, because it's from Alicante.
Yeah, that was one of the places that we listed on the last
Right.
slide,
And it
right?
is where
Okay.
this wine is from.
Oh, okay.
So Damas Noir, not run into that one before, but Mataro, you see that down there?
Yes, I was wondering, is it Pinot Fleury?
Fleury. Yeah, I would.
Fleury?
Yeah.
You have to
I
say
have not run
like this
into yeah.
because you're speaking
Oh,
like a
well,
French person.
honestly, it helps me get there.
Okay, there
Yeah,
you go.
that's right. And that's into like some of these I have not seen, right?
Mhm.
Torrentes rather than Torrente. So we drank a Torrente. So
Mhm.
that's the white wine from Argentina.
Oh, okay.
Remember that one?
Yep.
So we had a Torrentes,
Mhm.
not run into that one. Monastrell and Mourvedre. Okay,
So
I can
could
see those
these
as
be like
different.
very, very regional?
Within France, I would
Mhm.
guess. Yeah, that would be. And then they have regional names in there. But anyway, dominantly Mourvedre, whether or not that is the way,
Mhm.
you know.
I
whether they-
I really like this image at the bottom, showing the body and the color compared to other wines. Mhm.
I really like winefolly.com.
Mhm.
You should check them out.
There you go.
I do just want to
They
give them
should
full
start
credit.
just giving us a little kickback for how much we advertise for them.
Well, I want to make sure and make it clear that these guys have an amazing site, and I really
Mhm.
appreciate them, sharing
Yeah.
information with us. So, all right. So I mentioned earlier, a very thick-skinned grape. So we are getting a lot of intensity from the outer layers there, the peripheral zone, and then medium on the acid. So not a ton, just some influence
there's
to keep it
some.
enough
Mhm.
from the center. Fairly, it's definitely going to be like a 70-30 grape.
Mhm.
And you can see with the long time it takes to ripen. So getting that sugar in the center part takes a little extra effort.
Oh,
And
sure.
you got to make sure not to have it watered down by the time you're finished. All right.
Oh.
So
Haven't seen what they look like before.
phylloxera. I started, what was it, last week? Working on adding kind of some vocabulary, right?
Mhm.
And there are things that we talk about, and I throw them around, and I thought, I really do want to cover that a little bit. When we did terroir last week.
Yeah, it
right?
looks like a tick with wings.
It is a tick, essentially.
Oh,
It's a
really?
plant tick,
Okay.
is what that is.
Okay.
So phylloxera, you nasty, nasty thing. It is a louse. So it's a plant lice,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Small wingless parasitic insect is the definition of a louse.
Oh, okay.
They don't always grow wings.
Okay.
They
so
will. Some of them
wings.
spend their entire lives just in the louse state.
Mhm.
In a high humidity environment, which tends not to be in the wineries,
Right.
right? In a high humidity environment, they will occasionally actually go into metamorphosis and
Mhm.
come out with wings in order to move to new areas.
Okay, so that's why, because it originated from Southeast United States,
Right.
right? And we're high humidity, so they were.
So they probably do
Wings.
that pretty much all
Okay.
the time, but as they moved around the world. So
Mhm.
they're pale yellow, sap-sucking insects that resemble aphids. They have put their proboscis into the plant at the
Mhm.
root area.
Okay.
And they actually, just like mosquitoes do with people, they inject an anticoagulant to the plant
Oh, wow.
and they suck it dry and they kill it. Right? They don't need to be the wing form to run around. They can actually just go through the soil too, through the cracks, and they'll
Mhm.
move from root to root to root. Nasty things. They are native to the southeastern United States. We infected the world because of world trade. Nearly destroyed all the grapes in the world starting around 1860. They literally had no idea what they were going to do. What was it? It was like 300,000 acres of grapes were destroyed almost immediately in Europe.
That's
They were like, this is
horrible.
it. Wine is done.
Yeah.
And it was stopped through rootstock grafting. So the
Mhm.
United States caused the problem. The United States solved the problem by creating vine rootstock
Mhm.
stock grafting. So they took grape roots from inferior grapes,
Mhm.
right, over here in the southeastern United States that can create plant coagulant and plug up the holes.
Okay.
And they use those roots, and to this day, they take, almost everywhere, not always, but almost everywhere. To this day, they
Everywhere
take,
that had a phylloxera infestation.
right.
Yeah.
There's so few areas left in the world.
You
that
said
never
there's
had
what,
it.
like some places in Greece and
Greece,
South America?
Greece, Chile,
Okay.
some areas in Australia, Western Australia,
Okay.
and Tasmania. And some areas that are so hot and dry that the phylloxera can't live in the soil.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's some areas in Spain,
Yeah.
like high plateaus and
Mhm.
such.
Well, and David's happy that you put a picture of the insect on there because he thought it was a fungus, actually.
And it really, it
Yeah,
behaves
you could
like,
see how
right.
that, yeah.
And people often call it a phylloxera infection.
Mhm.
That is
Oh,
common,
instead of infestation.
but it's an infestation. It
Okay.
actually is. So
Sure.
Jeff, how big are they?
tiny, 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 like little ape. You've seen
Like an
aphids on your
aphid?
plants,
Yeah.
just little dots. That's what these are.
Hmm.
But they just come in droves, and they literally exsanguinate.
Oh, wow.
How about that for a vocabulary word?
The only reason I know that is because of SVU. So I know exsanguinate.
Yeah, they suck it dry, sap in this case instead of blood.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's what they do. Nasty critters. Don't like them. So around 1860, the problem began. By the late 1800s, and I looked at about 5 different websites, and no one says anything other than late 1800s. No one puts a date on it
Okay.
for the creation of the grafting idea, which then saved everything. But there we go. That is the nasty little phylloxera.
I'd love to see a list of how many problems we created and then had to solve.
Well,
For the world.
it is an interesting thing where, you think about the rest of the world, and they're like,
Mhm.
and here they are like, oh, well, we started doing trade with the United States and they infected our grapevines.
Yeah, but we weren't the United States. I mean, we were in the late 1800s, but they're the ones that colonized us. So there you go.
There we go. Anyway, that is the phylloxera. All right. So where are we this week?
Where are we?
Where are we? Here we are down here in the bottom half. In fact, way down here toward the bottom, the southern coast.
Okay, so like the lower third
Yeah.
of growing.
So lower third of the growing
Top
latitude.
of the lower third. Yeah.
That's the wrong way.
Yep.
Here we go. All right.
I
so
did not do that.
España. We're over in Valencia, which has several different areas. We're going to be here inland in Alicante.
Okay.
All right. Alicante, actually, right there. Inland a little bit there. So close to the coast,
Mhm.
which is kind of vital for how this kind of works out. We're going here. So here's Alicante, but see, this is Alicante too. That's why I was
Okay.
saying, all right, so this is where they grow the white wines. This is where they grow the red wines in Alicante.
All right. But they're separated
They're separated, but they're both Alicante.
by land that is something else.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey,
It was
I didn't
probably
make
like
it.
some family that got really pissed at one another. And so one ran to one side and one ran to the other, but they both claimed the name. And that was, you know,
Well, it's all based on the city here. So
okay. I
anyway.
still think it was a family feud and that's why they're split up like
fair
that.
enough. I'll go with it. So here we are. Relatively flat.
I mean, there's some like hills, but like,
there's some
yeah.
elevation. There's,
It's not flat like Florida.
No, it's
yeah,
not.
it's flat compared to California
Right.
and yeah.
So it is hot and dry. It is very, very hot and very, very dry.
I think we've said that a lot with Spain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we were in Jamaica, which is really close to this, a long time ago.
Okay. And we were in the Canary Islands.
Right. And so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but this area, this is this grape likes hot, long, dry in order to, they doesn't dilute the
Ripen.
grapes, but it takes forever to ripen, right?
Okay.
But it has this very thick skin, so it can handle it. So unirrigated, these vines in this area only produce 2.2 pounds of grape per plant per growing season. So it takes many plants in order for them to get a decent harvest in.
Wow.
The soil is loose and sandy limestone with almost no organic component at all. These are highly stressed vines. There's only about 14 inches of water per year in this area. And they don't irrigate.
I was just
Like,
Yeah.
what? How is that? I know about stressing, but dear Lord.
I'm surprised they're growing. I mean, come on. So is this the only place then? I mean, because you've got to have a lot of acreage if you're only doing what 2 point something pounds per
Right.
plant.
It's a lot.
So, okay. So is this the only single varietal of this grape then? Like it's only in Spain? Because you said it was blending grape in France.
Right.
And then it's like 2,500 acres in Australia and
Right.
1,000.
Everywhere else I've seen it
Everywhere
only
else
as a
it's
blending.
blending.
I've
Okay.
never seen a single varietal from another location.
Okay. I mean,
I would
because
love to try
it
it.
is a lot of acreage to dedicate to a grape that is like, it's just not giving you a lot of grape per plant. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a significant investment.
Right.
Mhm.
You know, so phylloxera didn't hit this area of the world until 1989.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
It started in 1860.
so they didn't
It
have to
get
deal with
there.
this for over 100 years.
Yeah. It did finally hit.
Yeah.
And then, but because of that, they lost. And so a lot of Monastrell that you'll
Mhm.
see is inexpensive because they're very young vines because
Oh,
they had to
okay.
replant.
Okay, well, you can tell, I mean, they're not nearly the stalks aren't nearly as thick as like we've
Right.
seen like some that
Oh yeah. The big,
the diameter
thick
is,
gnarl.
yeah.
Now this is an old vine.
Oh, okay.
All right, so
All right.
these guys
So
were-
this one is.
This one is a
big,
step
yeah.
up, right?
Okay.
Older vines that they were able to
Mhm.
save.
Mhm.
And these were planted between 1935 and 1970.
Okay.
So some
Okay.
extremely old and some old, right?
You just called like,
1935 is extremely old.
it is 1970, you just called old.
Yeah,
So.
you know what? By vine standards, 50 years is old.
Okay.
Not by human standards. We're fine.
I'm just gonna start claiming a different birth year and there you go.
So they do get a little bit of humidity.
So hold on, before
Okay.
we move on, what's the average inches of water per year to compare? I think it would really depend on the region that we're talking, like, because we said 14 inches
Oh, yeah.
for the whole year for this region.
Yeah, for that region. I mean, let's look at, I mean, I can pull this up real quick and it won't interrupt the flow.
Average inches of water per year for where to compare? What are you looking up?
Our area, Gainesville.
Oh, okay.
This should hopefully go up quickly. Here we average 50.
Okay.
So just
Yeah.
to compare.
Yeah.
Yep. All righty. So they do get some humidity in the evenings, a little nice dew quality to help the
Okay.
plants because of the breezes. You saw how relatively close it is to
Right.
the ocean.
Yeah.
So that when the sea breezes make it inland,
Mhm.
they do give it, like, as it cools down at night, it allows that dew to form, which I'm pretty sure is incredibly important to their day to
I
day.
mean, yeah, seems like it would be since they don't irrigate and they get very little rainfall.
Right.
Yeah.
So here's another view.
I mean, it looks like plants in a desert.
Yes, and it is. It's plants in a desert. Oh, actually, on the side, let's move. I love this quote. This is from the owner of Bodega Mourvedre, which is the owner of Tarmia Hill Vineyards, right? The only things that grow here are olives, almonds, and Monastrell. That and goats. That's Jorge Adonis, and he owns Bodegas Mourvedre.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, there's just, I mean, you can see it's basically a desert,
Mhm.
and they decide and they actually grow them in this bush form. They don't trellis them here.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some here, so some people are obviously,
Right. Right.
but these guys are not. These
But
are the
this
more
particular
traditional.
vineyard, okay.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. These guys are traditional growers
Mhm.
and innovative winemakers.
Okay.
It's a kind of an interesting combo.
So, and then Linda has a question.
Okay.
Paul has a question.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. In the wine tasting yesterday, the gentleman was saying that on one of the varietals that we tried, he was saying that they were grooming the plants, or they were clipping the leaves or something, so that the grapes were getting direct sunlight. Is that dependent upon the grape variety, and that, or
Yes,
Okay.
it depends. That is a wine technique, a wine growing technique that is dependent upon the grape varietal and what you want to get out of that varietal. So even within the same grape varietal, some people will and some people will not expose the grapes to direct sunlight. And because a lot of times it depends on the area. If the area is a little intense for the traditional way that that grape grows, they will leave the foliage on top of it to help interfere with that overly intense sunlight. And if you are dealing with, say, something like, and we're talking Oregon and Washington, especially
sure.
Oregon,
Yeah.
where it's cooler, you're in a cooler area, you're going to want the grapes to get that additional sunlight directly to thicken the skins and get more flavor. But if you're here, you probably want those grapes underneath the cover of foliage
Sure.
so they don't get too much sun on them.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that actually goes into actual wine
Right.
wine growing techniques,
Mhm.
which is very much dependent mostly on location, secondarily on the kind of grape you're growing.
Okay.
All right. Bodegas Mourvedre. Like the Juan Hill family, the Bodegas Mourvedre is, and I know it's been a minute since we had the Juan Hill, but for me, it's like yesterday.
Yeah.
So they own multiple locations throughout Spain.
Mhm.
And what they do is they buy a wonderful location that usually has, like these guys from 1935. Bodegas Mourvedre was started in 2004.
Okay.
But they've been buying these older locations and putting in, really enabling the classic wine growing techniques for that location that'll create the true to form local character of the grape, but doing it on a larger scale.
Okay.
And then when they're picked, almost always hand-picked,
Mhm.
it goes into a very high-tech winemaking situation, right?
Mhm.
So they're making these great wines and they're able to make them in a large amount to keep in the pricing. Like this, the pricing on this guy was really reasonable for such a beautiful wine.
Right.
So they're actually in that desert conditions, in those mounds, being grown en masse,
Mhm.
but with that classic style. So they start with this beautiful classically produced fruit, and then they're able to produce it in a genuine way, but en masse in a way that allows them to distribute throughout the world. But you do get this wonderful true to form wine that's expressing that area. So I think it's a really interesting combo of what they're working on.
Absolutely.
So starting 2004 by, go ahead to the next slide,
Okay.
please, by Rafael Sanizares, and now is in the middle of being moved over to being run by Sophia, his daughter.
That's fantastic.
Right. So she's a very young looking woman for
She
getting ready
is.
to take over this wonderful winery. But
she's Latina, so
yeah,
she might just look young.
I think she's do a wonderful job.
She was probably born in the 70s.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, people that are born in the 70s look fantastic still. So I already talked about their style. So they really base it on what they're creating, where you can see how deserty it is behind them there. So they're really worried more about the flavors that they're going to get out of the grape than the amount of grapes per acre.
Okay.
And that is the important difference. Clearly you're talking about 2.2 pounds per
plant.
You're not pushing it in the way that they would do, say, in a warm growth Sacramento area,
right,
Californian, that would go into Sutter Home. Like that's all about the amount of, pounds per acre, produced.
True.
Because it's a cheap wine.
True.
So, and I'm not slamming, I'm just saying it's a different priority.
Yeah, it is. Well, yeah.
So
do you know if Tarmia, is that the flower that we're seeing on the,
yes, that's a passion flower.
Okay.
Yep. And so we have two different ones. There's the
Mhm.
Tarmia,
Mhm.
which is that one,
Okay.
which is my good luck wine. That's the one I drank when I was studying to finish my sommelier.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
Yeah.
And succeeded the
Mhm.
next day. Right. So that's their kind of intro, but it's delicious. You know, that it's like an $11 bottle of wine. Right. Great. You know, it really, really overperforms.
Mhm.
And then this is, kind of the big brother.
Okay.
Big
Okay.
sister, whichever way you want to go. Sophia's taken over, call it big sister.
There you go.
So
Yeah, and I do have to correct myself. She is not Latina. She is Hispanic
oh.
because she's not from Latin America.
Mm.
She's from a Spanish-speaking country. So Spain is the only one that is that difference. So anyway.
There you go. All right. And now we have a video. So you have to do that special thing you know how to do.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Let me make sure that we share our sound. There we go.
My name is Rafa Canadares, business associate and winemaker from Bodegas Mourvedre. I'm going to tell you about our wine, Tarmia Hill. This wine is created using 100% Monastrell grape, Tío Alicante, one of the most historical wine regions in Spain. Harvested from 40 to 60-year-old vines, which produce very low yields, from 2 to 4 pounds per vine. These vines, selected for Tarmia Hill, grow at an elevation ranging from approximately 1,968 feet to 2,460 feet. The soil is mostly fossilized chalk covered in stones. When we produce wine with Monastrell vines, we give great importance to the ripeness of the grapes. By carrying out this process, we obtain beautifully balanced wines and a very sweet tannin. Among its characteristics, I must highlight its aromas, roasted wood, compote, and ripe fruit. It's a very complex and structured wine. I invite you to discover and enjoy this beautiful wine. Be sure to pick up a bottle of Tarmia Hill right here at Total Wine and More.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's
Why
nice.
didn't you needed to cut that off?
I couldn't hear it at the store. People were in the store. You know what? I know a better place.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of depends where you are. Some people only have the big box stores, depending
Well,
on,
that's true. I mean,
but I mean, well,
not everybody can have a tip.
I was actually in Auburn recently and, well, you guys know, tried to join you guys, but it wasn't, I ended up driving on the night, but I went to, there's a recent local wine store that opened. So I said to Jeff, okay, I'm definitely going to the local wine store instead of like, and they don't have it. Well, they do, but it's in Opelika, a big box store. But so I went to the local wine store and it was fantastic. I was so happy I went there. So yeah.
That's good.
They're not our competition. They're not even in the same state. So we're good.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
If you end up going to Auburn, it's called Well Red, R-E-D. So there you go.
Right.
Oh, hold on. I don't know what you do that makes it so that I can't just click forward.
I just copy and paste it. It says add video.
No, it's not. There we go.
All right. So
okay.
Ratings. All right. So here we are. This guy's grabbing 92s and 93s, as we saw in the video, previous vintage. I mean, to me, if it's 92 or 93, that means nothing to me between the difference in 1 point.
Sure. Negligible.
But so regularly it's thrown into an outstanding wine of superior character and style, right? It can also be a very good wine with special qualities. Nothing wrong with that. Never turn up your nose at an 86. If it's the varietal you want and what you're in the mood for, drink an 86. Definitely, even 80 to 84, a good, solid, well-made wine. What's wrong with that, right? So people definitely get too hung up on 90 pluses. This guy, do we think that it has special characteristics versus other Monastrells? We haven't had other Monastrells, right? So, but maybe you guys have. What is it showing you? And I always say it is a blending of A, what is it versus other Monastrell, or B, also it's completely legitimate versus other wines that you've enjoyed. Nothing wrong with covering it that way.
Okay, so we have a low of 89 and a high of 94 right now. And then we have 91, 92 to 94. And
Nice.
then Julie and Brian both agree at 92. And Brian says it's good for a red.
And there you go.
And then Paul 91, Linda 93. And I would have been with Linda at 93.
93. Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
had a feeling it would be pleasing for you,
Mhm.
for Linda, for Julie. I mean, there's enough tannin to give it the bigness that
Right.
you guys like. A lot of rich fruit, a lot of spice.
Mhm.
It's actually, as it's open, there's a little bit more dry fruit component to it. You know, as they get to that dry, somebody said dried black cherry early. I can't
Mhm.
remember who said that, but yes.
Mhm.
You know, as we're having it, and yours was probably just open a little bit longer.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Trying to look back.
I
to see
you know,
what
I go
else.
back to it. I'm enjoying every sniff on here because of all the spice and character coming out
That
of
was
there.
Chris and Robin.
Well, that doesn't shock me.
Mhm. Yeah.
They have
So-
they have some good calls on the wine
Yep.
tastings.
Mhm.
That's right. No big thing. Just be casual about it, Chris. That's right. Just because I complimented you.
Sorry,
They're
I
like,
missed
"Oh,
that.
wait,
We
did
were
Jeff
talking
just
about the
compliment me?"
ratings. Sorry, I missed what you said.
Oh, because he said, I don't know who said it, but the black cherry.
The dried
Right.
Oh
black
yeah, the dried fruit.
come
Yeah.
out
Right.
now that ours is open more.
So
And I was like, you totally nailed that call.
Right.
Oh, thank you.
I
Sorry,
scrolled
we were
back.
talking about the ratings. I
Right.
missed
Well, it was so
that.
funny. And then right as I said that, you went, yeah.
And then this.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, that's right. Ain't nothing but a thing, chicken wing. Yeah. So anyway,
It was subliminal.
that's
Yes.
right. Well, it looks like overall, no one gave it a 60. So I think everyone liked it.
Well, let's hope you're not picking anything that people will give a 60 to.
Oh, I'll get you a 60.
No, please don't.
No.
No. Look at David.
I know a store that probably has some 60s in it.
Yeah, well,
They might have been referenced in the video.
I'm sure they have some 60s in there.
Like that reindeer red that they bring
Okay.
out. Anyway,
dude.
whatever. Anyway, so all right, so good. Everyone liked it. Some people loved it, and other people, and everyone at least liked it very much. It looks like.
Mhm.
This is Monastrell. Like this is what it is.
Evidently, I like Monastrell.
Yeah, I knew you would.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, there you go.
it's got a lot of character,
Mhm.
but it is very fruit forward, right?
This is why I asked you. We'll go to restaurants and I'll go, will I like this? Not about the food, but about the drinks.
Right.
Will I like this? And I feel like a little, because I used to ask my mom, will I like this? But about food. But now I just asked Jeff about drinks.
Well,
so-
but really, I mean,
I'm
here
you
with
know
skills.
what I like.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've got to be useful sometime.
Yeah. That is the one thing. No, okay, there's more than one. Never mind.
Okay, thank you. Jeez, I was about to cry myself to sleep.
It's still recording.
All right, so let's go back to the slides. I want to thank our sources. All right, so Wine Folly, of course, 750.com, Wikipedia, winetourism.com, Bodegas Mourvedre, and Valencia Wine Consulting and Tours. Some of these were just photos, but some of it was
Mhm.
much more. So shall we go to next week's wine?
Yes.
All right. We are headed to the very north of Italy, an
Okay.
area that almost is not Italy. We're
Oh.
going into the Alps
Okay.
in northern Italy, but it's for a red wine. So this area, which is called Alto Adige,
Mm-hmm.
is known mostly for whites and a lot of German varietals, a lot of
I was just gonna say
Rieslings.
the name looks German.
Yeah,
That
Schiava.
Grauvernosch or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
It
like-
looks German.
This is, and we'll talk about it. I don't want to say too much and give it up because
Sure.
it reminds me of another area of the
Okay.
world. But it's because it's on the border and it's gone back and forth.
Mhm.
It's Kurtach, you know, and being in as an Italian is
Yeah,
there's a
it's-
lot of that influence from up there, right?
Mhm.
So the Schiava grape is more people would recognize it as the Trollinger, which
Okay.
is a German red,
Ah.
right? But we'll get into something that's kind of similar to what we had this week with
Okay.
Origin on that guy.
And Chris and
So-
Robin are psyched about it.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's
They
really,
had one Chiava and they.
Oh,
loved
we're-
it.
it's-
Yeah.
so I tasted this
Mhm.
about a week and a half ago.
Okay.
And I said, oh, I'm really excited to share
Mhm.
this with everybody. So it is not the same kind of red wine share as tonight.
Okay.
Not to disappoint anybody.
Mhm.
It's a wine. I want you guys to chill this. And I don't mean chill it like our other reds. I
Okay.
mean chill it like a white.
Oh, okay.
This
So
is
for an hour.
yeah, like this is a summertime red. And it's a great red for when you're determined to drink red, but where you're eating should have white wine,
So
which happens.
me and
Yeah,
Julie and
yeah. It's the really cool thing. Like if you're in a situation where like this should be a white wine and you just refuse,
uh-huh. Okay.
yes,
All right.
this is your wine. And
Okay.
it's so fun and it's delicious and different. And I'm excited to share it with all you guys.
Okay. And then we've got food pairings.
Food pairings. All right. Lamb chops, mushroom risotto, which is on my mind.
Yeah. He had risotto on Saturday.
I
so.
like that.
Mhm.
That was good. Pork chops, Italian pork stew, Thai beef salad. I came up with that one.
That's good. I'm just remembering the first time you tried Thai in Miami and we had gotten mild because we knew Jeff was there. And then Jeff's like, oh my God, I'm dying.
Look, I
and
have-
the rest of us were going, can't even taste the spice. Like
I-
it's not here.
You know, I have more taste buds than you, right?
You do.
or
That's
at least
true.
more sensitive ones.
That's very true. And you've evolved some since then.
I have. I can
so,
take a lot more spice than
good.
I could then.
Yes.
So, all right. So that's what we're having next week. I really hope you guys will come. Join us again.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a wine where you're like, I never would have picked this up, and I'm so glad that I tried it now. So
Yeah. And please, if you like the wine, please like tag us on Facebook and Instagram and whatever social media you use, because we would like to have a bigger group. I mean, we love you guys. We saw you last night too, but it'd be
Right.
great to have a little bigger group to share it with too. So yeah.
Yep. Share it out there.
Yep.
All right. Let's toast.
Okay.
Right.
let me
We go
stop
back
the share.
to, all right, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for joining us.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Hmm?
Don't want to do that. I was ending the meeting, which I don't want to do
Hmm.
because we have to have the after party.
Mhm.
Stop recording.